Welcome to the Love Government. I'm Dennis Leary. We're doing a series of videos called Sex Cards. We are now on the 29th card out of 52. This is the total card layout of 52. And this card is starting a new suit in the card game and a new column in the structure of the house. And this is called the suit of life, or the column of life, and it's the 29th. The card is called cell because life starts out with cells of all kinds of different descriptions. It can be a molecule, it can be an atom, it can be a solar system. Anyway, our body is a cell. We have trillions of cells. It's the whole and the part interacting. If it is operating according to the system of love, it is a well cell. Well cell. If it's not, it's a hell cell. And we spin between those two states. The well cell is represented by this card. This card is back to back, that's side by side, but the same thing. And the well is called the Ace of Pentacles. Once again, we have the lover's hand coming out of the cloud, the nebulous cloud, the cloud of everything and nothing put together, pure potentiality and actuality. Her hand comes out of the cloud, offering us her hand. But in her hand, she is holding a pentacle, which is the star configuration inside of a golden ball, which is a woman's sign again. And the star is us in our 5 extensions, head, 2 arms, and 2 legs. And the hand is 5 extensions, and the clitoris too, which is the essential organ of the woman, has 5 extensions. The head, there's 2 arms and 2 legs. The arms and legs are under the surface, but it's still there. The well represents woman. Woman is the well in a love-cultured system because she brings forth the life. The baby is pretty obvious. Some other things are not so obvious. The whole lover's body is a well. And we're focusing on really that, but we're human beings here, and therefore we use our own form as the first phenomena that we must deal with. The love culture is portrayed here with a Garden of Eden setting. The oval shape again is a sign of love. It's a sign of a woman's aura around her body. Sometimes Mother Mary appears to people, and she appears like Our Lady of Guadalupe with an aura around her. It's a holy aura, and it goes back to the vulva. The vulva is that oval. So sex and sacredness go together. And it's a very nice combination. The well was the center of the love culture. And still remnants of that are in the towns. European towns still have them. The well is at the center of the town because the town grew up around the well. Because you have to have water to live. Water is, our body is water, and water makes the plants grow from which we live. In the old times, back say 100,000 years ago in East Africa by the big lake, people lived near the water well, or the river or the stream is where they gathered around, because the trees grew up and the plants grew around the water, and the wild animals would come to the water. That's where the people were. The water was life-giving and life-saving. And they saw the connection between the woman's body and water. And they worshipped and they were centered on the lover, who is primarily woman and secondarily man. And out of her body comes the waters of life. So this is the mentality that will save us. Mentality, which is nature-based in proper order. Now, around these sacred wells, in Europe, they still have many of them. They're maintained. There's a well there, spring coming up, and they're called holy wells. Remnants of these things show up in our culture. For example, holy water founts at the entrance to churches. And some of the churches have that oval sign in their doorways. They don't think of it anymore, but that's a vulva sign walking into the woman or coming out. And when you went into the church, you made the sign of the cross. Dip your hand in the water, make the sign of the cross, which is a rewrite of the original sign language. It's more patriarchal now. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost is a rewrite of maiden, mother, and matron, three aspects of the woman, or a triangular verbal triangle, three women dancing in a circle. So people had ceremonies and rites and rituals. Today, in one culture, we call them saying Mass. The Mass in the Catholic culture is an outgrowth of pagan rites, which is an outgrowth of love rites that took place in the original love culture, say 100,000 years ago in East Africa, in the tropics, where we were young and it was very clear what we were. We were made to be lovers. We appeared, in evolutionary terms, very, very subtly, and very, very different from the surrounding animals. Very different. That's why the animals did not prey on us, because we were new on the scene. We were not prey for them. So we got along very well with the animals. In and around the water, we had sacred rites like masses or religious services or certain civics service ceremonies are today. But those rites were life-giving, and they actually were what kept the world going in a love sense. It kept the love world going, made the world go around, made love go around the world go around love. And they reenact, and that's kind of what we're doing today. We're attempting to get back into that, get the love juices flowing again in a well-governed way so that we can transform our culture. So what did they do in those ceremonies? They made love with each other. They had sex with each other in an open, communal, well-governed way. And they made the waters flow from their bodies in imitation of nature to nourish the earth, because the love juices, the love waters nurture the earth. Out of the woman's body flow natural waters, which is when she's sexually aroused in these rites, the water would flow from her vagina. She gets wet, in other words. And then if she ejaculates, a little geyser of water comes out of her. And this was interpreted as nourishing the earth. It's a reenactment story of what's told. Actually, it's in the Love Government book. The original nature myth was how the lover created everything this way by masturbating. Masturbate means the mass of your body is turned on, like a turban, turned on, and then abated. It's the primal dynamic of nature. There's a resting state, things get turned on, and then they climax, and then they get turned off. It's the primary way of nature's acting. Nerves do that. They build up their energy, they climax, they shoot across the synapse, and then they die down. And cultures rise and fall. Our emotional states rise and fall. By reenacting love, we bring it into action today. And we're not familiar with this languaging, we're not familiar with these actions anymore, and we think that they're weird, we think that they're dangerous, we think that they're inappropriate, and therefore we have the problems that we have today, because there are no longer true lovers enacting these sexual rites, which makes the juices flow in a sacred, mental, sacramental context. That's what makes the difference. You can be doing the same physical action and it can bring about destruction and tragedy because it's not appropriate. It's power-based. It goes against the grain of nature, where you can do it in a proper way. So people at the time in nature's innocence in the beginnings, when we could see it clearly, did it properly. It was well governed. And the juices, the love fluids, flowed out of both the man and the woman, but in the woman's case, it's more like water. It's actually like water. Her ejaculate is odorless, and it's in the consistency of water, and it's clear, like water. And this is very, very powerful because it brought love into action. It gave medicine to the earth, and it's not being done anymore today. That's why one of the reasons why we fall into the corruption. Sure, some of the ceremonies we have traces of it, but usually it's been corrupted in some way. I know I'm familiar with the Catholic Church, and in the Catholic Church you have communion, right? And you have eat my body, drink my blood, which is a Roman rewrite of the original thing, which was drink my waters, which is what we're talking with the cards here. Drink my waters. The lover's body is all that is, so when she says, eat my body, she means eat the plants. Eat the plants, drink my waters. And this was reenacted in their ceremonies. We do it here. We reenact kind of like, it's like saying Mass for me. And it's like doing these rituals, but in a very imperfect, derivative sense. But we do it anyway because we have to do something to save the world, to correct things, to put things right side up, so to speak. Thank you again for joining us. We thank all the lovers come in here, and they do. And the animals do, and they do. And we bring it all together into some kind of a form, in some kind of a Mass. That's why it's called saying Mass. You make a Mass. At the end you say, Ita missa est. The Mass is over. Thank you. Thank you. And love to all of us. Love and more love.